All right, the goal is to do some meal prepping today. We'll see how far we can get, because every time I think I have this great idea, I'm gonna get all this stuff done, guess what? It doesn't work. But I know I want barbecue and taco meat, and plain hamburger would be nice too. So I have 10 pounds of ground beef and ground pork in this container. We don't use a ton of pork cuts other than like pork chops, brats, bacon, and the rest we pretty much go ground pork. I can make sausage, I can make Italian sausage, I can make anything from the ground pork, just like beef. It does have a slightly different flavor to us. I still prefer beef, but if I mix it in with the beef, nobody cares or notices. So I'm gonna, of course I forgot to pull it from the freezer, so it is frozen. They come in 1 pound packages, but I'm gonna put it in the Instapot. I'm gonna see how many packages I can fit in my Instapot frozen. I think I'm only gonna be able to do 2 at a time, but it'll at least get it mostly cooked, and if I need to finish it in the skillet, I can. The other bright side is that they stay in like their little chunk, and all the grease will drain out, and that is the tedious part I don't like. Plus I can do other things while the Instapot is going. This is about the only way I really use my Instapot, is to cook stuff like this. I haven't made whole meals in it because I feel like it takes just as long to use this to prep it, release the pressure and everything, that I might as well just make a regular meal. So we're gonna get cracking. All right, I was able to fit 3 pounds. This one's the beef that's a little darker, and then these 2 are the pork. So one thing I found, I cannot run my Instapot and my microwave. It'll blow my power strip back there. We got to rewire more of the house, but if you live in an old house like me, just be mindful of that if you're running a lot of electronics and stuff. It pulls a lot of amperage. Okay, so my lid's on. I'm gonna lock it, make sure my valve is shut, which I think that's shut. Pressure cook. I think my Instapot is fried. Don't know how, because I hardly ever use it. But it's not turning on whatsoever. And I know that outlet is good. It's very frustrating. Of all the days. All right, I was hoping to do some big grandiose reveal of this thing. I've had it on my Amazon wish list for a while, but since the Instapot is a no-go, very angry, very frustrated. We will do a not grandiose unboxing of this thing. And it is a Nesco pressure canner, electric pressure canner. And I know maybe for you traditionalists, this is sacrilege. I don't really care. I'm thinking that it's gonna make my life easier and I won't be as scared of blowing up the house. So I hope. So, let me see if I can get in here. Sorry, I'm not the greatest cinematographer. Okay. Here's one box. For all you people who are not used to unboxing things, if you get stuck trying to get that thing out, just open the other end because there's suction. Flip it over. You can see it's been on my floor for a while. Lifts right off. We can use it in the garden. Yippee. Bonus. Okay, so this thing says pressure canning, water bath, low, high, pressure cooking, slow cooking, browning, and steaming. So it's basically an Instapot, but it's approved for pressure canning, whereas the Instant Pot is not approved for pressure canning. And now we can pressure cook all the ground beef I wanted to get done today. You know, it would be really nice as if it came with a manual, and I don't see one. All right. Aluminum alloy nonstick inner cooking pot. It comes with a steam rack, canning rack, and 2 removable pressure limiting valves. Green for high elevation, black for low elevation. I think I'm mediocre elevation. Fits up to 4 quarts or 5 pints or 16 4-ounce jelly jars. But no instructions. I know you're supposed to wash all this and yada yada yada. I am not. I really don't think you guys want to see my fat arms in the shot, but that's what you're dealing with right now. So I'm like almost the opposite of what you consider a germaphobe. And I hate dishes like a lot. So let's see if this blippity blips when we have a beep. Okay, it even says caution, read manual carefully. There's no manual unless it's inside. Oh goodness. Okay. Okay, manual with a warranty. There's the steamer rack. And then this plastic is just for safety, for like shipping. Ooh, that's kind of cool. It says 4 to 5 full cups, but I don't know what that means. Guess I'm gonna have to read the manual instead of cook my beef. Okay, I think this will work out. I did have to Google my altitude because it said at 1,000 feet is a breaking point between which jiggler you need to use, and I think I just used the regular, shoot. Even for pressure cooking, not necessarily canning, but pressure cooking. Use the black 10 PSI regulator below 1,000 feet. And from what I could tell on Google, I'm below 1,000 feet. There were no accurate, like out of the 100 things that popped up, 2 of them gave me an altitude and they were nowhere near the same. But they were below 1,000 feet. The plus side of this, though, is I now have 5 pounds of ground meat in here. I could possibly put another one over here, but I don't want to push it. I don't know how full is too full. So we're just gonna wing it. The other thing is there's like no chart to tell me how long to cook this. The Instant Pot said 20 minutes for your first pound from frozen, and then 23 minutes for if you're doing 2 pounds. I have done that. I've done like 3 pounds before. I don't think it was even frozen, and it was still pink in the center, which is fine. I just have to finish it all up in the skillet, and that's another extra step. So I think 5 pounds. I'm going to start with 30 minutes because I have another 5 pounds. If it's not enough, I can, do something else. But I'm kind of happy now that, my Instant Pot broke so I can try this thing. All right, so the lid goes down differently than an Instant Pot. It's kind of on a hinge here. And then you do still slide it to lock it in place. When I plugged it in, it did turn on. It says turn the valve to exhaust, I think it said. Set the pressure limiting valve to the airtight position. So let me show you what this looks like. So this is the valve, and I think it's also the jiggler. There's instructions on how to remove it. I honestly don't know. Well, I might not even have to worry about it. Anyway, there's a little arrow here that I assume that's what tells me where I'm on. So this is, I want airtight for pressure cooking, and then either way will be exhaust. And this looks like the valve where the steam is going to be released. This is the hinge that the lid is on. You have to slide the whole lid like the Instant Pot, but it's gonna ride on this little plastic thing, which I don't know how long it's gonna last. The reason why I chose the Nesco one is because it was cheaper. I didn't want to get something like the, I forget what the Presto canner, and then it was over $200. So I thought, let me try this. It was on sale on Amazon a few weeks ago, and that's why I got it. I finally made the plunge. There's also, while I'm noticing this, an open and close. So right now I have this closed. We're going to pressure cook. Ooh, that's loud. And we're going to increase, whoa. Let's start with 30 minutes, see what happens, and then we hit start. So while that is considering what it's gonna do, I do like the plus and the minus here. There's your water bath or steam. And then this is probably your low or high pressure canning. It does have a saute function and a crock pot slow cook option. So really this is like your Instant Pot if you wanted an Instant Pot, but if you're interested in pressure canning, this comes with a pressure canning option, which I didn't really even consider at the time. But the Instant Pot was a gift. It was a very nice and generous gift. This one I did purchase, so we'll see how it does. I moved this, you saw me rotate it because I don't want any of this steam coming out underneath my cabinet. I have very shallow depth countertops, so I just want to be careful that this steam is not coming into my cabinet space as much as possible. It'll still kind of steam up the cabinet some, but not like if it were directly underneath. So we'll come back. It'll beep at me again, and well, first it's got to come to pressure. Then it's gonna take 30 minutes to pressure cook things, and then I'm gonna have to hit the exhaust. I think I'll read the directions, and we'll see how the ground beef and pork turns out, and then hopefully do another round. I did put about a cup of water in there. I don't know if I mentioned that. Instant Pot requires it. I'm sure this would too, just to get it, just help create that steam and stuff. I have had the Instant Pot shut down because I forgot to put water in there, and I was like, we're burning, we're on fire, and it didn't like that. I don't think that's what caused it to fritz. I'm wondering if it was because I tried to run the microwave at the same time and I blew the circuit a couple times. But I don't know. That is very odd. I don't know what would have made that crash so quickly. It's making a noise. I hope it's supposed to do that. Oh, okay, good. We're good. All right, it beeped at me. It says off. That little thing I think is somewhat sizzling or releasing pressure. And then once internal pressure has reached a cooking time, we'll start counting down to 0 and beep 3 times, which it did. Carefully move the pressure regulator to the exhaust position. Once the steam is released, turn the lid and open the lid. Okay. So. Whoa! Did not expect it to come out of there. Okay, we're gonna try it this way. Guys, check this out. Look how much that shrunk. Like, I think it was more like up to here. That's wild. But I guess, you know, when it cooks though, it's not that frozen brick either. But there's so much space in this thing. So it did not cook all the way through. but that's okay. It's no longer frozen. It's mostly cooked, and most of the grease, I think, is out of it. And I can live with this. We will be just fine with this. So I'm going to put the next 5 pounds in there. And I got to get going out the door soon. So I don't know that I'll get this sauteed right now. But we'll at least get the pressure cooker going, because then it can go while I'm out. All right, I'm back. I wasn't here to release the pressure, so this did sit in the pressure canner. I did it for 40 minutes, and I only had 4 pounds this time because one of the packages that I brought up ended up being stew meat. So I'm going to pull that open. See if I can get some light in here. And I think it's mostly cooked. Yeah, it's mostly cooked. So the 40 minutes for 4 pounds definitely worked. There might be a touch of pink in there, but it's not bad. And I'm going to be cooking this anyway for barbecue. This is the original 5 pounds, and I'm letting it cook to finish getting rid of the pink, and then I'll start making my barbecue. So I can't find a barbecue, what I call barbecue recipe in my ball book. It just has like chunks of lamb, mutton, pork, veal, or venison, and then the variation with ground meats and the pressure cooking time for that. So I am going to brown my meat in batches. For every 4 cups brown meat, add 1.5 cups boiling water, broth, or tomato juice. So I think I'm going to try doing a barbecue sauce, or doing my barbecue, and instead of freezing the extras, I think I'm going to try pressure canning it while I have this pressure canner out. And I might also check a couple websites to see what else they have. My recipe is just super simple, and it's not going to follow anything probably online because it's mostly ketchup. But I'm going to start doing some research. Okay, this thing says it can take 5 pints in here, and I suppose I could fit one if I configured it like this and put the 5th one there, but it seems awful tight. I don't know if they're supposed to be that close together, especially in a pressure canner. Maybe somebody else will know, but I filled my jars, and I'm touching them because everything cooled down. I had to leave for a bit, and with 1 inch of headspace. For pint jars like this, it's supposed to be 75 minutes, but I still need to add 8 cups of hot water. I'm not going to make it super hot because the fact that this is more like room temperature than hot barbecue right now. I just, like I said, I had to leave for a little bit and take care of Ellie. Okay, so my jars are in here, my 8 cups of water. I put the lid back on. It is closed tight. I have the jiggler pressure valve on for my altitude, which was pretty much the one that was on it. And then it says select the high button because we're going to do a high pressure can. Press the time button to set the canning recipe required process time, which is going to be 75 minutes. Press, okay, set the pressure limiting valve to exhaust, which is that arrow. I think it's pretty much there, even though it's not dead on the button. And then press the start button. And then we have to, the digital dial chase, oh, that must be that bleepy thing going round and round, will begin to rotate, and this will continue until the correct internal temperature is reached, which can take up to 30 minutes. So we're waiting for this to come to pressure, and then steam will begin venting through the pressure valve. This is normal. Once the pressure canner reaches the correct internal temperature, the canner will beep and the LED will display E10, means exhaust mode, and 10 equals the number of minutes that will count down. The pressure canner will automatically count down from E10 to E0. Once the LED panel displays the E0, the canner will beep. And then we need to set this to airtight. So we're waiting for it to come to pressure. We're waiting for E10 to, or this to go from E10 to E0. And then it will beep at us and we'll move this to airtight. And then that's when I believe the countdown will start it. We'll start, the 75 minutes will start. Okay, it beeped at me once, but it still says E10 and we want it to count down, so I'm gonna wait until it beeps again. Oh wait, this is the part where, yeah, once that reaches 0, then we move the valve to airtight. Okay, I did not hear it beep again, and it didn't seem like it was 10 minutes, but it was starting to spew out a bunch of stuff, and the little lights were going in a circle. So I switched it to airtight, and now my timer started for the pressure canning part. So we're gonna have to wait an hour and 15 minutes before it stops and we can move on to the next step. So here I am trying to take the lid off. It doesn't really work because I forgot how already. And for some reason, I was just challenged late at night. I didn't do a ton of recording because Ellie was ready for bed and I didn't want to disturb her and have her hanging on me while trying to handle the hot jars. One question might be, is this a USDA approved recipe? And no, it is not. I just made the barbecue how I always make my barbecue, and I could not find a barbecue recipe in the Ball book at all. But I would prefer not to get into the recipe debate. I think that there are pros and cons to both. And if you have a different opinion, that is totally fine. I'm not saying you should try this. I am just going to feed this to my family, assuming it looks, tastes, and smells okay. And there was some siphoning going on. I asked in a group if siphoning happens if the seals are still good, and they said yes. It was a canning experience group, but I am a little skeptical because I don't know if that fat would somehow be in the seal to compromise it and only make this a short-term shelf life. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, I'm taking the jars out and there is quite a bit of bubbling going on, which I'll try to show you in a little bit. It's still very hot. All the seals ended up popping, and that was another reason why I was like, are the seals still good? Because I hear the popping, but I do see the siphoning, and that's, someone in the group did say, yes, they should still be good. So fingers crossed we still have barbecue on the shelf, and I think even though freezing would have been quicker to just put it in a container and freeze it, long term, this might serve us better. So here I'm trying to show you the fat deposit or the grease that you can see on top of the water. And then here's the bubbling going on in the jars. My kitchen has really poor lighting, so I'm just using a flashlight to light it a little better. So guys, thanks for stopping by and joining me in this. Please consider subscribing and liking the video to help our channel. We really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks, guys.